Hi guys, good morning. Mrs. Main here with part 3 of Bummer in the Summer. I will read chapter 7, 8, and 9. Chapter 7, The Ghost of Now. This was turning out to be the worst night in the history of nights. When would it end? The clock that I didn't have struck 1. AJ, AJ, AJ. Ah! There's another weird-looking ghost floating over my bed. It took me a few seconds to realize it was the ghost of Dr. Brad, who has gone mad, which is another Dan Gutman book. Our school counselor. He has crazy hair that looks like one of those mad scientists in the movies who straps people to a chair, removes their brain, and puts a monkey brain in its place. I am the ghost of what happens right now, said Dr. Brad. Little asterisks. Let's go down. If you read this book out loud, give Dr. Brad a funny mad scientist voice. It will be hilarious. Okay, I'll do my best. He talks funny, and his eyebrows jump up and down as he speaks. Wait, I said, right now? Has a ghost? That's weird. I would like you to come with me, AJ, said the ghost of Dr. Brad. We are going on a little journey. Another journey? The journey with Mr. Klutz wasn't much fun. Oh well, I figured, at least I would get to fly again. Flying is cool. When are we going? I asked. Right now, of course, the ghost of Dr. Brad replied. I am the ghost of what happens right now. He floated out the window, and I followed him. I wasn't afraid this time. Come, said the ghost of Dr. Brad. There is much to see. We flew about a mile or so, and then we swooped down over a playground. But it wasn't the playground of my school. It was the playground of Dirk's school, another school in our town. The guys and me call it Dork School. It's for really smart kids. There were lots of kids running around the playground. It must have been their recess time. There were some big posters on the walls with slogans like respect others and be considerate. The ghost of Dr. Brad and I floated low over the playground. Do you notice anything different about this school, AJ? He asked me. The kids are dorks? I guessed. No, said the ghost of Dr. Brad. The children are being nice to each other. That was right. Nobody was pushing and fighting or saying mean things to anybody else. See what I mean? Said the ghost of Dr. Brad. The children are sharing. They are cooperating. They are helping each other. And they are having fun, AJ. Interesting. Everybody at Dirk School seemed so happy. Wait, I said. Are you telling me that kids can actually have a good time without saying mean things to each other? Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. I had no idea this was possible. I always thought the only way to have fun was to say dumb stuff about other kids to make everybody else laugh. This was blowing my mind. Can I go to Dirk School? I asked. No, said the ghost of Dr. Brad. Only the nice boys and girls can come here. But this is how you are supposed to behave, AJ. People need to be polite and respectful of one another, so they can live in peace and harmony. They would never get into this school. Sorry, AJ. We flew to my house without saying anything. I went back to bed. The ghost of Dr. Brad had given me something to think about. Something to think about. Chapter 8. More bad news. AJ, 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 AJ. Ah! I opened my eyes to see that my bedroom was filled with ghosts. There must have been 7 or 8 of them floating around in there. I recognized Miss Yonkers, Dan Gutman book, Miss Yonkers is Bonkers, our computer teacher, and Miss Leakey, yes, a Dan Gutman book, I think she's freaky, our health teacher, Miss Small, who's off the wall, our phys ed teacher was there, so was Miss Tracy, I think she's spacey in the Dan Gutman book, who came to school to teach us about astronomy, and Miss Newman, the local TV weather lady. There was Mr. Will, Who Needs to Chill, that's a book, the guy who drives the Ding Dong ice cream truck, and Mr. Burke, who's berserk, look up these books, the guy who mows the lawn at school, and Miss Lily, a reporter for the local newspaper. We are ghosts, they said at the same time. I kind of figured that out, I told them. What are you doing here? I have some bad news, AJ, said the ghost of Mr. Will. Oh, great, I groaned. Who doesn't? What's your bad news? I ran out of ice cream today, said the ghost of Mr. Will. That's not so bad, I told him. You can get more ice cream tomorrow. No, the ghost of Mr. Will replied. I'm afraid there's no more ice cream left. There is a worldwide shortage of ice cream. What? How long is the ice cream shortage supposed to last? I asked. Forever, replied the ghost of Mr. Will. There's no more candy either, said the ghost of Miss Leakey. It's all gone. No, I shouted. No more ice cream or candy? Those are the 2 most important food groups. How am I going to survive? Oh yeah, by the way, sports, they've been canceled too this summer, said Miss Small sadly. And all the swimming pools have to be drained, said Mr. Burke. What? I shouted. No more sports, no swimming either? What's happening? We believe it has something to do with the Earth's rotation, said Miss Yonkers. I've been tracking it on my computer. Perhaps I can explain, said Miss Tracy. For reasons that we don't quite understand, the speed that the Earth turns around its axis has sped up in the last few days. What happens was radiation, blah, 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 gravitation, blah, blah, constellation, blah, 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 calculation, blah, 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 combination, blah, 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 dehydration, blah, 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 navigation, blah, blah, situation, blah, blah, transformation, blah, blah, blah. I had no idea what she was talking about. You see, said Miss Newman, there was a high pressure, blah, 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 which caused a thermal inversion vector, blah, 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 which led to global, blah, 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 wind chill factor, blah, 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 blah. I had no idea what she was talking about either. But I knew one thing for sure. It was the most horrible thing to happen in the history of the world. This is big news, said Miss Lily, sticking a microphone in my face. I'm writing a story about it for the newspaper. Do you care to comment, AJ? Get out of here! I shouted at all of them. Get out of my room! The ghosts let out an eerie, crackling laugh before they lined up single file and flew out my window. Asterix. How come ghosts always have an eerie, crackling laugh? What's up with that? This was the worst night in the history of my life. I simply could not fall back asleep after everything they said. My life was ruined. Chapter 9. Bingle Boo! AJ, AJ, AJ. You'll never believe in 1,100,000 years whose ghost was hovering over my bed this time. It was Miss Cormel, the lady who drives our school bus. Little asterisks. It was Mrs. Cormel who named Neil the nude kid. She told us she was going to pick up the new kid, and we thought she said nude kid. That was weird. Bingle Boo! The ghost of Mrs. Cormel said. Oh yeah, she invented her own secret language. Bingle Boo means hello. Miss Cormel is not normal. You guessed it. That's a Dan Gutman book too. There she is. What are you doing here? I asked. Well, somebody had to drive all those ghosts over here. Get out of my room, I screamed at her. Ghosts don't take buses. Jeez, she said. Don't take it out on me. You do have an anger management problem. You know that? Well, that was a short chapter. There are all the ghosts on the bus with her. I'll see you tomorrow for the finale, chapter 10, 11, and 12. Hope you are enjoying this as much as I am. Bye.